There's outrage in the gaming world against Munfish and Atomic Heart, and Starfield is popping up on Xbox Series Xboxes, but it still may be delayed further. Atomic Heart is coming out in February. Game looks just absolutely incredible. And from everything that we've seen, the graphics, the gameplay, the actual setting that they've come up with, the creativity of this game just looks like it's going to be a hit. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really, really excited for Atomic Heart. I will definitely be checking out, especially right when it jumps onto Xbox Game Pass. But people want Munfish to take a stance on the Russian-Ukraine war because this is a developer based out of Russia, and they had this to say on Twitter. Guys, we have noted the questions surrounding where we at Munfish stand. We want to assure you that Munfish is a developer and studio with a global team focused on an innovative game and is undeniably a pro-peace organization against violence against people. We do not comment on politics or religion. Rest assured, we are a global team focused on getting Atomic Heart into the hands of gamers everywhere. We do not and will not condone contributors or spammers with offensive, hateful, discriminatory, violent, or threatening language or content. So this was their stance on the Russian-Ukraine war, and people have been giving them backlash because they aren't coming out and definitively saying they are against the war itself. They are against Russia and what they are doing in Ukraine, which in my opinion is just an absolutely absurd thing to expect from Munfish, a developer, people who live in Russia, in an extremely difficult situation where they probably could get in shit if they speak out against what Russia is doing. They're not trying to involve themselves in politics. They're not trying to involve themselves in religion, all of that stuff that they said in that tweet. Similar to on this channel, I don't really talk about politics too much, but I find this and the Hogwarts Legacy stuff that's been going on over the last couple of months just so stupid that people are getting so angry at these developers for things that they have no part in. This is not Munfish's fault, this war. They are just happen to live in Russia. So essentially coming out and being enraged and being mad at Munfish for not coming out with a huge stance against the Russian-Ukraine war is essentially just being mad at the people at Munfish for being born and living in Russia, which they had absolutely no choice in the matter. Atomic Heart looks great, and if you're out there telling people to boycott Atomic Heart, just like Hogwarts Legacy, it's going to backlash, and it's probably going to bring more people to playing the game. And not just because of that, but also because the game looks incredibly good. And we also got some good news from Atomic Heart and from Munfish on how these games are actually going to be running on the consoles, which will have a lot of people very happy. Same in this tweet that they came out here and had to make some sort of statement. Somebody asks, will the game have 60 FPS, 1440p on console? And they respond, solid 60 FPS, 4K in dungeons, and dynamic resolution, mostly 4K at 60 FPS in the open world, and next gen, of course. So that's good news. This is going to be a 60 FPS game, which you would expect that from a first-person shooter. You wouldn't want anything less than 60 frames per second, but mostly 4K in the open world, which from the way that this game looks like it's going to be very high in graphic fidelity. That sounds pretty impressive. And then also the 4K 60 FPS in the dungeon. So that's exciting. We are moving back to that standard of 60 frames per second. We got that confirmation from Hogwarts Legacy. Now we're getting this confirmation from Atomic Heart, where people were very concerned at the end of 2022 with games like Gotham Knights that were stuck at 30 frames per second on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. But I think at the end of the day, that was just a developer thing. I don't think that was because the consoles couldn't handle that. And we are seeing right now with these big AAA games coming out at the beginning of 2023, proving again, these consoles, the standard should be and probably will be for most games going forward 60 frames per second, with at the very least that performance mode that you get to make that choice between 60 or the high fidelity mode with 30 frames per second. But finally, I want to talk about Starfield. Two things I want to go over here. First of all, we are seeing in China Xbox Series X boxes popping up with Starfield key art on them. We see this here from Idlesoft, and it says, FYI, in China, they are selling Xbox Series X with Starfield key art printed on the box. Here is the box, and you can see what it looks like. It looks pretty cool. I love the Starfield art, so it'd be great to get a box like this if you haven't got an Xbox Series X yet. But obviously, this is pointing towards the fact that they are getting closer to the release date, so they're going to start ramping up that marketing and starting to build that hype for the game to come out. But when it comes to the actual release date for Starfield, what we have been told is that it's going to be coming out in the first half of 2023 by the end of June. Unless, again, of course, if it gets delayed further, which it seems like this may be the case. Once again, for Starfield, where we have Mr. Matty Plays here saying on the Defining Duke podcast, Starfield is getting a possible bump out of the first half because it's currently undated. Still coming this summer, but possibly delayed out of the first half. And he says here, this source is someone that I trust quite a bit, and they've been very correct. Nothing from that source has been wrong. And if we go over here on their Steam page for Starfield, they've updated the release date from coming soon to now simply just saying 2023. So again, this is all speculative. Who knows what this means? If it's pushed out further into the summer, that means probably July or August that this game could be coming out. And quite honestly, for me, Starfield, as long as it releases in 2023, I will be happy. There are so many good games coming out between now and the end of June that I wouldn't be too upset if they were to delay this game even to the holiday season of 2023, making it that big premiere release when you're going to be able to really sit down and focus on it and just be that game that everybody talks about during the time of the year where gaming is at its highest point in terms of excitement and games coming out. It's always a holiday season where you get a ton of massive games coming out all of the same time, and Starfield will be that game that I think towers above them all. If they pushed it out to the holiday season, there's probably a lot of games preparing to release for the holiday season that don't want to see Starfield released then. So what they're saying right now with this rumor is that it is going to be delayed slightly, maybe a month or two, which isn't a big deal at all. Like I said, as long as it gets out in 2023, I'm good with that for Starfield. But that's it for me, guys. What are your thoughts on the Atomic Heart situation? When do you think Starfield is going to release? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. I'll catch you in the next video.